Cargo and shipping fraud continues to rise. What's so hard about dispatching? I see a connection here. Scammers are taking advantage of the complexity of car shipping, and they figured it out before we did. If you've got opinions about dispatching fundamentals and fraud in auto transport, please chime in, say hello, make new friends, and network with the best on ATI Auto Business. What's up, ecosystem? Welcome back to Industry Logistics on ATI Auto Business. Out of the gate like a lion, where everyone learns more about the automotive industry. If this is your first time here, please do feel welcome. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my co-host right now. Sue, can you see me and hear me?
I can. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Can you see me?
I can see you. I can hear you.
Cool.
And it's Thursday. Excuse me. So, okay. We're going to talk about two things today.
Okay.
Fraud, boring, and dispatching, super boring. Okay?
Well, yeah.
But it's not. That's the crazy thing.
I mean, it's not boring because I'm nonstop working,
well,
but I guess
know.
it just gets old. Maybe that's the better word for it.
I guess so. I don't know. These are two things that, because, see, what's sexy is... Oh, I said sexy. Can't do that. I probably can't even do that. Okay, so what sexy is, I'm just going to go for it again, is that we want to talk about the speed of turnaround time in car shipping and these things. But we don't want to talk about what it looks like, the sausage in the back room. Oh, can't say that either. All right, so here we go. Hey, Stephen Family's here, DDD. What's going on, Truckify? Thank you all so much for saying hello. Please don't forget to leave a like on your way out. I'm just kidding. Stick around. Chime in. Add your thoughts. It means a lot, and it helps. Oh, Stephen Family got scammed again. How?
Really?
And Stephen Family, here's the thing. See, I tried to get a car hauling business owner on the show today. These are the hardest guests to book.
Yeah.
Why is that, Sue? Why?
They're busy.
They're so busy.
Yeah. I mean, they're just incredibly busy.
That's why it's amazing you're able to take an hour every Thursday and do the show.
I try.
Well, you succeed. So let's jump into, what are we talking about today? Let's do it. Oh, Jay, you don't have the... Didn't you do this last week where you didn't have the graphics ready?
I don't know.
So you made the cover. Look at that. You made the DVD cover.
I think that was a thinking look.
Right? It's great.
You told me to make all these different looks, remember?
Oh, I know I did. Well, you did it. I'm
doing new ones today. After this, I'm doing new ones.
That's great. Yeah. We need, this, but this is really good. And this is version 1.0. What, you said, that was like 6 months ago, right? Yeah. I think you sent me that one. It's great. Yeah. See, it's still applicable. September.
Yeah.
So, and there you are at the desk with trucks and money and I don't know what all that stuff is. Business cards. It's amazing what AI puts out. Map on the wall, boxes.
Oh,
so
you mean
in the background image. One of the things that's going to happen is we're going to confuse freight, cargo, and auto transport a little bit today. And that's okay, because we're talking about the industry. By the way, Sue is Murphy Auto Transport Services. Thank you so much. And we're also going to be talking about dispatching fundamentals.
Yeah.
This is when it comes down to the essentials of how do you book a car, there is actually a lot to know.
Oh yeah. In fact, we should probably do like a scenario where I pretend to call to get a load or something like that, and how you.
Oh, I like that. I feel free to do that. Yeah, at any time. Like, because I do talk about, what do you say?
Right.
Like, let's say you're finally oriented. You know what you're looking at on Central Dispatch. You understand types of locations and cars In fact, here, this is probably the right time to bring up. This is dispatcher training, part 1 of 3. This is my spreadsheet. And I talk about, you know,
I like how it says what you need to have and
right, your
like
workspace.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. And that's not where I started. I suppose any novelist realizes that chapter 1 hasn't even been written yet because something's got to come before the actual action.
Yeah.
Before you can do anything, you have to have a workspace. You have to have a couple monitors and then some basic knowledge of what's a dually and what's a semi. What is this stuff?
Right.
I always say to people, you know the car haulers or the trucks on the road that you don't even notice that are carrying cars.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, who pays attention to the semi trucks, the 53-foot trailers? Who can name 5 trucking companies of trailers they passed during rush hour this morning? You can't. Maybe Knight, maybe Swift, maybe, right? But, right, do we know that? We don't know those companies. Not really.
I mean, I do just because, you know what I mean? This is what I've been doing. So I look for trucks every time I drive anywhere because that's what you do. And then also the same thing, I'm always looking at all the new cars just so I kind of have a feel for them to see what they look like and what their length is, what their weight is. And people don't realize that the cars are getting heavier too. That's another thing they have to watch for. It's not just if they're an EV and the batteries are heavy, the cars are just getting heavier in some instances. So
right, and again, EVs are getting the attention where it isn't talked about. That came up on a recent show. And I just want to say thank you so much. Renee is here, Charles is here, Danny B, Ken Collins. Thanks everybody. That's awesome.
Hey guys.
So cool. Yeah, so I mean there is so much to talk about. It's strange how when you start to talk about dispatching, there is a ton to know.
Oh, yeah.
And you can quickly, let's say you're calling to book a load. I'll take that off the screen because that is where it starts. Once you're oriented, the first thing you can say is, hey, I'm calling about a load on Central. If you know nothing else,
that's what you say.
I'm calling about a load on Central. Just like if you know nothing and it's your first day at the dealership and you're trying to sell a car, there must be something that is said while you're standing on the curb and the customer comes up. I don't know what that is because I don't work in dealer sales.
Should we show my screen and I'll kind of go through a few different ones to show what they show? You know what I mean?
I love that. Please do that. That's awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's see. Share screen. Okay. So, like, for example, we're going to look at this first load because it's on the top. Oh, by the way, this is the load board right now. It's 47,693.
Okay.
So, which is actually up.
Yeah.
Okay, so this load right on the very top, it's an F350 cab chassis. Just so everybody knows, when they put cab chassis on there, that does not mean it's really just the cabin chassis. For some reason, when you put in a VIN, sometimes it will put that in there and people think it's just the cabin chassis. Always ask. Always ask. Okay, if you look to the side right here, instead of calling normally the number that says 774-329-1852, if you look at the miscellaneous, it says on here, please text or call dispatch at that number. Okay. And they were nice to put down here where it says order ID K5116. It really is a cabin chassis with no bed and dually. That's wonderful. That tells you everything you need to know right there. Okay. So normally then I would probably text. I wouldn't call because when they put text on there /call, they really mean text. So I would text that person and I would say, hi, usually if it's morning or afternoon, I would say, good afternoon. I'm interested in order K5116 from Anniston, Alabama to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I'm wondering if that's available. And I'd leave it at that. If I don't hear back from them in 5-10 minutes, then I'd make the phone call. Then typically if it's a texter, they're going to want to know the name of your company and if they want insurance and that kind of thing. That's where you follow through with the rest of that. Now, if I was calling, I'd say exactly the same thing. Good afternoon. Is K5116 available? I'd like to pick up on this date, this date. They're going to ask you your company name. You're going to give them that. Sometimes they just ask for the DOT or the MC number. You're going to give them that. They're going to look you up, and more than likely, they're always going to ask for an insurance cert. It's few and far between anymore, especially with all the fraud going on, that they're not going to ask for that. And they're going to want it directly from your insurance company, not from you. And then after you get the load, then we do a different procedure altogether. So that goes into verifications after that.
You just told me
What?
that you just had a phone call and they didn't want to tell you who they were, but they wanted.
Oh, yeah.
What's up with that?
They do that all the time. It's usually because they want more money and they don't want to tell me. And I hate to say it, that's my trick too. But
well, everybody wants more money, and that is actually
Right.
It seems like, along with hi, I'm calling about a load on Central. Hi, I need more money.
right.
Right.
But this is what I do. So if I'm texting somebody and I want more money, I first ask if the load is available. Then I ask for more money. If they tell me no, you have to decide right then and there if you're going with it or not. I usually don't go with it. So then what I do, I have a Text Now account. Everybody can have them. They're free. You get a free phone number. It lasts for 30 days. If you don't use it, it shuts off. You get a new one. Anyways, I get one from another state. I text them again and ask them for more money. And that way I know for sure whether they're going to go with it or not. Because sometimes they think that that's it and that's all there is to be. And when they have multiple people asking for more money, then they realize that their rate is too low. So I kind of just play the game and see what I can get.
Well, and there you go. And that's what's interesting, is that I didn't put gaming on dispatching fundamentals. But
Right.
yeah, even once you learn all the basics, then you got to learn the games.
Yeah.
I know.
It's a game.
And I think it gets more gamey all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do this. Let's keep going, but
Okay.
we're still talking about fundamentals. And that's cool. Just this one, and that's where we're headed, is just this one's.
And truly, when you call to get that load, sometimes I will ask where it's picking up from, because I don't usually, some of my guys don't do Copart, some of them don't do IAA, so I will ask ahead of time so I know what I'm getting myself into. And then sometimes I can kind of tell by the zip code where it's picking up from, so I'm just confirming.
That's
like
it.
Manheim.
Okay, see, and there you go. And this is where, rather than trying to just straight up be playing a game, I do the same thing. Asking about the type of location is a way of profiling without being offensive.
Right.
Like, instead of saying, is this an in-op piece of crap? I can say, is it picking up a Copart?
Right. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And that way you can decide then, just say, oh, my driver doesn't do Copart. If you don't want to deal with it, you're already ahead of the game. You can stop right there and move on.
And I also want to say,
I wish they would list it on there. Like all my loads, I list. I'll say Copart to dealer, IA to dealer. That way, if you don't want it, don't call me. You know what I mean? I try to be upfront about it.
So I think this is an important moment since we're here right now. See, if you work in logistics, you have no choice but to talk like this.
I know.
If you work in sales, you can avoid talking like this.
Yeah.
And salespeople do avoid talking in this abrupt, rough manner. But if you're out there, you have no choice but to start talking about actual pieces of crap, actual crappy information, and you won't hear sales talk like that. I think that's one of the disconnects between sales and operations that I've been talking about so long, is it's just the way we communicate literally changes the amount of information you're going to get.
Yep.
The type of information, the promising, the over-promising, the under-promising.
Yeah.
You had somebody call you to book a load, and they literally didn't want to tell you who they were.
Nope.
See, and no shipper would ever believe that that's even possible.
Yeah.
And if they were to catch wind of it, they'd just say, well, then I don't want to deal with you.
Right. Yeah.
Well, guess what? There isn't a broker out there that probably doesn't deal with that.
Yeah.
And they don't talk about it. You won't find a broker at a trade show talking about all the shadiness that goes on getting cars moved. That is
No.
never going to happen.
No, they don't want they don't want their customers to find out.
No, they don't.
I mean,
And even just talking about it here and now, we've already got like 3 or 4 red flags since 15 minutes ago. But since I'm now Mr. Red Flag, well, what else am I going to do? It's my content. I don't know. And I speak dispatch. Okay, so one of the things I've been talking about is this dispatcher training series. If you don't know, by the way, did you know there's other dispatcher training series now on YouTube? I did not know that. Yeah. There's all these
current or older?
No, they're newer. Mine's like the oldest. Yeah. Anyways, it's fine. Doesn't matter. Some of the things we're going to talk about today are we have top load boards.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how we're going to get all this done. By the way, did we get to Janice's thought of the day?
Nope. Janice, give us your thought of the day.
Janice, here we go. Drum roll, please, for Janice. Janice's thought of the day is...
Why do not dispatchers and drivers call to verify loads before they go and get them?
Why don't you call to verify loads?
And it happens all the time.
That's on part 1 of my training series.
That's my T-shirt. Verify, verify, verify.
Now, hey, Janice, what is that? What's the simplest way to verify? What are we talking about? Pick up the phone, right?
Yeah, you're just calling the dealer, the auction, the Copart, the whatever residence, and you're making sure that car is there. The address is correct. It runs and drives. You got the correct VIN number. What time that you can pick up to and from, and if it's a residence, we always look up the address to make sure the driver can get in there.
Well, that's a lot of information.
Yeah, if we can't, we make them meet us at a Walmart or something like that.
It seems so basic.
I know, but if you're new, you wouldn't even know any of this stuff. Yeah, I mean, no.
Hi, I need an Uber. Yeah, where are you? Here.
Well, it depends.
No, I mean, but
how many times you got to call?
and this is where maybe I don't know. What happens when you tell a driver, here, let's play a game? Oh,
okay.
Not no. What happens when you tell the driver they need to call ahead?
Well, my drivers do it, but you're right.
What do
they never
say?
do.
They don't.
Especially a residence.
They say, well, I'll wait till I'm almost there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I tell
Why?
them 24 hours plus 2.
Why are you going to wait until you're almost there? What does it matter?
Yeah.
Listen,
You're going to find out.
If you're
that they're
5
not there.
minutes, if you're not going to call till you're 5 minutes away,
Yeah.
then just ring the doorbell when you get there.
Exactly. And then you're
But-
going to find out she's out getting her hair
and
done.
then you're ringing the doorbell and they're not there.
Yep.
Why does this still happen?
I don't know. It happened to, I dispatched a load to a driver, I think it was Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
And they're chewing me out saying, they won't answer the phone. I said, did you call them 24 hours out? Well, no, we're here. I'm like, well, there you go. I don't even know how to answer that. I said, you're going to have to give me a little bit. I said, that's why it says on your paperwork, 24 hours plus 2.
Or
And
they change
see,
the
brokers-
address and you're 4 miles away.
Well, say it again. What'd she say?
She said, or they changed the address and we're 4 miles away. Or
Oh,
something.
see,
Yeah. Yeah.
and there's another reason to call ahead.
Yes,
because there's a
absolutely.
really good chance, and this makes
It
no
changed.
sense. There's a really good chance something on the dispatch is wrong.
Right.
And if you just called ahead.
Yeah.
I've had drivers say, well, I'm at your house, and they're like, well, I'm at Walmart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, okay, and then I'm on the phone. Then now I'm on the phone instead of booking loads. He says just wait at Walmart, and then the guy's like, well, but I need to go. Okay, but now I'm begging a guy to stay at Walmart while trying to tell the driver which Walmart. It's why, right?
We had something like that happen.
It's
with,
crazy.
Adolfo just the other day, the exact same thing. We're like talking to the guy going, hang on, he's 5 minutes away.
Yeah.
Adolfo's on the other line going, where is he? I can't
What
see him
kind of
in the
coffee
parking
do you
lot."
like? Oh man, I just saw Oppenheimer. And literally you're doing this, you're
Yes.
begging the person just to stay where they are.
Yep.
And I don't know why. Like that buying 5 minutes for a driver can be like
Yeah.
a death match.
Yes.
It's the
Especially if
weirdest
somebody,
thing.
they're about to pick up and the dealership's going to close at 6 and they're 5 minutes away and you're like, please just wait for him. And then he still doesn't show up for 25 minutes later and you're like looking like a jerk because you asked him to stay.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This goes, and so camera one, like it's I know it's either boring or not possible or I don't know. It's just, but this is the sausage making process behind the scenes. It goes on every single day, and nobody. If you work in technology, you would assume that technology could solve some of these problems. Does it?
I don't know. I'm going to talk to David tomorrow because he's going to go over some technology with me.
Awesome, David Ray Jr.
And he kind of wants to know how
Yeah.
I do what I do, and it's all phone. I mean, my phone dies by, I don't know, 2 or 3 o'clock. It's almost dead right now, in fact, but because I'm either texting or calling. I mean, this job is you're on the phone 8 hours almost a day, I would say. Don't you think? I mean, because you're just nonstop.
And so here's the problem. You don't actually deliver vehicles. You're literally in community. You're the switchboard, and a shipper can't make any sense of how that's possible.
I know. And don't get me wrong, I like Super Dispatch where you can push a button and get a load. But there's some brokers on there that don't pay attention to your request. So, like, yesterday I requested one, an hour later, still didn't have the load. I had to call that broker and, oh, we didn't see that. And I'm like, well, that's the whole purpose of this, isn't it? So we don't have to call you. But, and my other pet peeve is this. You get a load from a dealership and you're picking up from that dealership. One, why can't you put the hours on there so we don't have to call you? And two, why won't you put the freaking email on there so we can bill you afterwards and not have to call you again? That's exactly how it goes every single time.
Okay, so now so I'm going to ask this then.
Okay.
Would it be helpful to talk to brokers, because they're the ones mostly getting these loads, to try to find a way to explain that to their customer, the dealer? I don't know.
You mean like for verifications and stuff?
Or any, like what you just said, like the email.
Well, that's the broker. I mean, that's a dealer broker who I'm talking about.
The dealers that posted it themselves?
Yes, and I'm picking up from them and stuff like that. They never put the hours on there. So then I end up calling them, the same person back, and asking them what their hours are, and they treat you like you're an idiot. But I'm just like, okay, we have to ask these questions, because just because whatever you have online for Google does not mean that's correct, because a lot of them don't let you pick up after a certain time because they use porters, and the porters usually don't only stay till 5 or 6 o'clock, so they have limits on everything. So we have to ask these questions just so our driver. And then sometimes there's certain places they're supposed to park that they got to tell us too. You know what I mean? At a dealership, because there's no place to park at the dealership itself. They'll say park in the middle lane, out in front of the dealership, that kind of thing. So there's certain things we ask and find out for the drivers ahead of time so that they don't have problems and they can get in and out too and move faster.
What you just said too about parking in the center lane, that one right there, that one drives me nuts.
Me too. But you can't do anything about it.
Well, I know. But
I don't like it either.
And so I say something really dumb. I think everybody hates it when I say this. And that is that, how did you build a dealership location without thinking about how you're going to get inventory?
Yep.
And I think it makes people jump out windows when I talk like that, because it seems so obvious.
Yeah.
And I go to the grocery store. How are you
going to get all those cars in when you first open up?
Yeah, and so I think the answer is, well, we did when we built the dealership, but we have since filled it with retail space or, service drive or whatever. Yeah. So, I don't know. The carrier can just figure it out. He can just park in the center lane, get smashed into by road ragers. Oh, but we didn't say that. No, of course we didn't say that. But it's crazy. It's crazy. CJ can't talk like that. Let's check the live chat again. Communication, not a chance. We are on a feedback loop. This is pointless. Well, I don't even know why we do this show.
Dee Dee is asking a question. I don't offer classes, Dee Dee, but you can email me, text me, any question you want to ask. Cool. I'm more than happy to help you.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Yeah. So, all right. So how can you be contacted? And by the way, this is some of the... Yeah.
Either my cell phone number is 417-255-6230, or you can email me at murphyautotransport31@yahoo.com. I recommend texting me because if I don't know you, a lot of times they go into my spam. I don't check my spam regularly. I'll be honest. Sometimes I find them a week later. So text me. I have no problem with answering. And
Sue's
if I've got
text
time
line.
to chit chat, I'll chit chat with you.
417-255-6230.
Yep.
All right, I just put it in the live chat. Awesome. Cool. Yeah, and while in texting, where I was talking to somebody about just emails, I think people's email inboxes for the most part have gotten pretty full.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's
I
almost
get
now a
1,000 a
burden
day.
just to try to get through daily email.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's the first
which is
20
awesome
minutes
because
of my
I
day.
also send out a weekly email, so that's awesome. It's good to be part of the problem. And so anyway, so back to, load boards. I do want to get into that, and this will be an ongoing series. Top load boards. We're talking about how to book a load. And this training series, it's 2018. February, March, and May of 2018 was when I did that. So what's changed since? We know payment types have changed.
Yeah.
We know there's more mobile apps.
Yes, there's definitely a whole buttload of mobile apps. I mean, we were talking about that because I didn't realize Super Dispatch was back then, but it is. I just wasn't using it at that time. But now we've got every major broker has an app for them to basically track you.
and more and more now have their own load boards too.
Yes, that is true.
Which is why actually now it's now hard to keep track of what are the top load boards because there's more load boards, there's more apps.
Mhm.
It's really tough to keep track of.
I would say our tops that we have listed are probably still pretty much the same.
Yeah.
There's only a couple that have, well, no, we talked about RPM and it's still not out. I'm still not accepted so I can look at their load board and grab loads.
Right. Thank you.
That's a new
RPM
one,
load
but
board.
it's still not ready, so
It's
I
still
can't
not
even
out.
say that. I think Jen's got access. Do you have access to it?
To what?
To the RPM board yet?
RPM.
Okay, Janice has access to it. My guy doesn't have access to it.
I know, I'm working on it.
I mean, it's a process. I mean, we keep
here,
sending back
Chris-
their little emails and nothing happens.
The
Chris
biggest
Chamberlain.
problem,
Has anyone used Google Earth to get a view of a drop-off location? Oh man.
I don't
Maps.
know if you use Earth. I just use
Oh,
Google
Google
Maps,
Earth, yeah.
and you can
Use
look it
Google
up that
Maps.
way.
By using Google Earth, I'm thinking, I don't know. Like, I guess what he's talking about. Chris, are you talking about when you use Google Earth to get like the topography? Like, what are we looking? Is it a mountain? Is it a river? Is it a snowbank? Is it a
What you gotta
glacier?
go
Is it a?
through, yeah.
In which it could be any. That's what's crazy. It could be any of those. I remember one time, Phil, which is where John came from.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Phil
that's right.
is John's cousin.
From Tennessee. Yep.
Phil, yeah, he was delivering at a location. Not only was it an in-op and all this BS and it was crazy, but yeah, he said that location is so messed up. Never send me back here again. Because it was like a gravel road on the side of a hill, you know.
Yeah, up a mountain.
Not even. I mean, no one should ever try to deliver a car.
Right.
there.
Right. That's the other thing that brokers
Hey,
don't
VGA.
understand either. Has anybody ever had a broker tell them that no matter what, you have to deliver it or you have to pick up from that residence? It doesn't matter what's wrong with it or anything like that. I know Reindeer does a lot of that, but if they will listen to you when you say, I cannot get in that area, and they'll make arrangements and they'll take it to a towing company for you to pick up. But I've had other brokers tell me straight up, you have to do that. And then I have to cancel because you can't get in there.
You just said something.
What?
That's really good.
But,
And that is that reindeer.
Mhm.
Here's what I don't understand. I really don't understand. We've been doing this for years,
right.
but connecting with many of these companies still has been, I don't know, kind of difficult.
Yeah.
I don't understand it at all.
Yeah.
If anybody can explain that to me, I'd really love to know what it is. Even if it's personal, just tell me it's personal. Because it doesn't make sense to me.
They barely answer the phone to get a load. And they have a load board too, by the way. Reindeer does.
And I've tried to get Reindeer on this show, and I've tried. I don't understand it. It's nothing personal. I just don't understand it. I don't know what it is about transportation and logistics. Building community has been pretty much impossible. We still do the show to talk about the problems, but I can't make sense of it. Nonetheless, we're going to say something positive. What I'm trying to get at is, I love how Reindeer, if there is a problem, they say, we're going to get a flatbed. You know, they'll take care of it, and they also know how to communicate to their customers, because obviously there's a cost. I don't know how they do it. It's almost like a magic trick. Reindeer is one of the few companies that just, and you're on mute, by the way. Reindeer is one of the few companies that just somehow takes care of it. I don't know
Aren't
how.
they what kind of company? They're like they work for business companies that move people.
Well, there you go. It's
That's
the
why.
types of customers too.
Yeah. Now, I mean, you know, I don't do Florida, but we went to Florida last weekend because the rates are so outrageous. Anyways, but this other company, what was it called? CLR. We took they had a vehicle listed out of the Fort Lauderdale area, I think, going to North Carolina for $1,000. It was outrageous. But it couldn't be picked up on a Saturday, and that's when I was going to be there. She took it to a towing company for us to pick up on Saturday. Didn't take any money off of my fees, nothing.
And was that Reindeer?
No, it was
No.
CLR.
CLR. I don't know CLR.
That's the first time I've worked with them, but like she said, she goes, I got to get this moved. I'll figure it out. And so she actually, what was funny is because it was in Fort Lauderdale, and we all know how bad the traffic is there. But my other cars were at West Palm Beach. She had it moved to West Palm Beach, so it worked out perfectly. We picked everything up from West Palm Beach and kept on going.
Hey, sidebar. Dimitri. Okay. Thank you, Dimitri. Dimitri says, hey, guys, honey for my ears to listen to you. I'm not alone.
Awesome.
And you know what? Thanks, Dimitri, because that was actually why I came up with the idea for this show. This was originally Dispatching Live, now called Industry Logistics, because it's not just dispatching, even if you're listening today thinking it is. But dispatching is a big part of industry logistics. But my idea was, man, this is so crazy. This should be a show. Like, in fact, I think some shows kind of create a crazy topic. I think of Howard Stern like that.
Right.
Howard Stern created controversy.
Right.
He was great, king of all media, love him too. But he kind of had to, where this controversy creates itself. I think that's why nobody wants to talk about it, because it is so bananas.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about scammers and fraud here in a minute. Man, we're already 30 minutes into the show. It's only getting crazier. Chris said, pass that on to a friend who's transporting, very helpful when in tight areas like Philly. Okay, so yeah, he's using Google Earth for crazy topography. That totally makes sense.
See, I use the Google, you know, has anybody known on Google Maps, you can go from Street View to topography or whatever it's called. Anyways, I'll do that too, and I'll open it up so I can see all the streets and all because our biggest thing is the overlying limbs and stuff like that. So we've got to see how big the trees are.
Right, you go to Street View and you're cruising down the sidewalk and the stuff. Yeah, no, that is helpful.
Yeah.
And again, this is all part of what's happening behind the scenes. Wow, Dimitri, best show he's ever seen. Wow, that is awesome. Well, that means we'll be canceled for sure. I'm telling you, I know this. This is not popular because it's not helping sales.
Right.
It's not getting likes because it's not happy. It's not popular. It's not trendy. It's not going to lead to more revenue. You guys, literally, it's like you keep dragging the crap into the sunlight, and I don't like it. All right. Charles was on the show last week. I thought that was really cool. It was really neat having him on. Brova Chaz Lemons is his YouTube channel. I can't wait to have Charles back. Shout out Charles, buddy.
Hey, Charles.
If you're a carrier, camera one, if you're a carrier, if you're a broker, if you're a dispatcher, if you're a scammer, I don't care. Just talk to us. You're part of the ecosystem. Oh, and we're the neutral zone. This is the only place I can guarantee this is the only place you will find this conversation. I know there's a couple other logistics shows. That's great. That's fine. But I think when it comes to craziness in auto transport, we have the monopoly. Every Thursday. So
Well, we
show
have
me
the
the
stories. That's part of it.
Well, it's so crazy. All right, show me the truck. All right. Hey, before we get any crazier, let's do some good news. Shout out, Reggie got a shout out. Congratulations to our auto hauler Reggie Ratliff for being entered into the Integrity Club by one of our valued customers, Toyota of Noonan, Georgia. I think that's super cool that Centurion Auto Logistics has an integrity club. I didn't even know. I think it's awesome. And yeah, there's an integrity report. I got a call from a lady of Toyota Noonan stating that Reggie had just delivered a load of cars, very friendly and polite. I told the lady I'd let the terminal know. And I think that's another thing too, is that
That's cool.
isn't that cool?
It is cool.
This is Reggie. And everybody, I think that there is a real desire. Right now, 6 brokers could be like, how do I get Reggie's contact
Yes,
info?
absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Because there is this need to find out who's on the same page and who's not.
Yep.
That's why I was talking about reindeer, and that's why you said CLR. Hey, what's up, Elena? What's going on? How you doing?
Hey, Elena.
So shout out to Reggie. That's really, really cool. Okay. This was big news. And by the way, I'm not really into gossip. But, right, there's a but. But I got this memo, Deluxe Auto Carriers. I got this like a day or two before it was actually announced.
Oh, okay.
Okay? It's now public information. But somebody made a copy of this memo that was only internal and sent me a copy, and this was the copy. All right. Which is funny. You can see a calendar behind it. Like...
So, is this freight? I mean, I
this
know
is auto
Proficient does
transport.
both.
Check this out. Okay. Have you ever heard of Deluxe Auto Carriers?
No, that's why
Right.
it's throwing me off.
Exactly. It's one of those companies you may never heard of. I think they haul mostly all OEM, and I think they're
okay.
regional. Okay.
Okay.
Anyways, what's happened is Proficient Auto Transport has now formed a new public company.
Mhm.
They're going to be on the NASDAQ. They're going to, I mean, you can buy stock now. And it includes Delta, Sierra, Tribeca, and Deluxe. Have you heard of any of those companies?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Sierra has posted a lot of loads on Central, and they're in the West. I've totally heard of Sierra.
Okay.
Sierra.
Okay.
And I think they have a couple different, the brokerage and then trucks and whatever, I don't know. But Proficient, have you heard of Proficient? They're
Oh yeah.
and
I mean,
Proficient,
I'm
right?
signed
Yeah.
up with them. Yeah.
There you go. Delta, Sierra, Tribeca. Now, what does this mean, right? Because does this mean something? And yeah, it does. It means that there are changes in the marketplace, and there's a need to conglomerate. But it also, maybe this is going to be profitable and great. Maybe. I mean, I think that's the plan. I'm not going to question that. Here is a graphic that I also found. So I went on to, there's a 387 page or 317 page SEC filing that people can download. I think I shared the link. All you got to do is Google Proficient Auto Logistics SEC filing if you want to read this. And I'm not doing this to be gossipy. I'm doing it because it's about education.
Yeah.
If you want to learn about the industry, research the industry, don't just stand on the fuel island, bitching about the weather again.
Well, yeah,
You
you need to know
can.
who you're going to work with. And this
But
is someone
yeah,
you're gonna work
no, man. The top 5 companies in auto transport are United Road, Jack Hooper, the newly formed PAL, Hanson Adkins, and Cassins. And 2 of those are union.
with. That would explain why Proficient is now requiring, like Run Buggy, an extra $1 million in garage keepers.
There
And
you
why I
go.
can no longer haul for them.
There you go. There
So
it is.
that explains it.
Exactly. Well, and that's the thing is that we get these memos and we want to know why. And if we would all just, I'm going to stop there. I sound preachy. Jeez, Jay, stop preaching at me. Golly. You're in no position to preach, Jay. All right, Proficient Auto Logistics SEC filing. This was filed on April 11th. And yeah, you can get common stock. And then I shared some of these documents, and I was kind of going through it, and you can read, I mean, balance sheets and everything. This is fascinating. It's all public information now.
Okay, I'm confused. Go back.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
You want to see this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They only made $7,100. They only made $3,100. Net income? Is that for real?
I don't know. It's on the documents.
That's crazy. Okay.
Stefan family, this show is a Band-Aid. We're not alone. That's awesome. Thank you. Because I am just gonna say, I mean, there's so much content that's so like feel good, happy good, that is not helping you. I know it's popular, but where do we really go when we need, like, do you put on a movie? Do you put on music? Where do you go when you're feeling, just like kind of alone in your drudgery? This is somewhere you can go.
So here's a question too. I keep looking at this, and this is just kind of this. That's all the kind of money they made? Is $135,000?
So you're asking a good question.
None of this makes sense. I'm just gonna say straight up.
Okay, wait, it's in thousands.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. That makes a little bit more sense now. Okay.
Right. So that saves 3 zeros per call.
Okay.
Per line.
All right, that makes more sense.
Okay, there we go.
I was like,
but
wow.
Here's what I was gonna say when I saw the 7 number is that we'll look at the revenue and look at the expenses.
Yeah.
Isn't the expenses 90% of the revenue?
Yeah. You're only making 10%.
That's trucking,
that's
ladies and gentlemen. That's trucking.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I found this so interesting.
Okay, there's the actual. All right,
now that's trucking versus brokering.
What?
Which one? And I played this game. I dropped a video.
Which one do you want to be?
Yeah. Which one earns more revenue and or income? Net income, net revenue. Is it trucking or is it brokering?
Brokering.
It is brokering. Everybody knows that. Nobody wants to talk about it, except for folks with trucks. How many companies do you know that went from trucking to brokering versus how many brokers went to trucking? I don't know any.
Well, some of them do because they added as an extra. They didn't get out of the brokerage.
Okay, but they didn't get out of brokerage. Okay, right.
They added it.
No brokers got out of brokering and into trucking.
That's the difference, yeah.
But there are companies that got out of assets and just do brokering.
Oh, yeah.
And
totally makes sense.
It's
Look at
okay to talk about this. I didn't break anybody's charisma. It's fine.
You know what's really blowing my mind is that they made more money this year than they did last year. That's weird. Everybody's been talking about 2023 was bad.
There we
I
go.
mean, it's not a huge difference.
I know, but this is
we're only
just
talking $4 million difference, Jay. But hey.
Well, and look, and then they're talking about. I'm telling you, can you imagine reading the whole Proficient Auto Logistics SEC filing? You would learn so much.
Yeah.
Stop what you're doing, and get the SEC filing. And I want to say this now. I hope when I talk like that, it doesn't bother them. I am not trying to cause a problem. I am trying to help educate the marketplace in ways that there's always things we don't know. All right, here's a fun fact. I now listen to philosophy lectures on YouTube.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It's fascinating. I've never really understood. You know what I didn't know? Here's one. Fun fact. What the heck does epistemology mean? Right?
The study of
What?
urine.
Study what?
Janice said the study of urine. Good one.
It's
Jen.
not.
My bad.
It's the search for knowledge. But anyways. But you know what? You're right. I should go back to watching like I don't know. I can't stand any like Bachelor or Housewife,
You're
or
talking about
I can
reality
watch
TV.
Fixer Upper for a little bit, but I can't make it through a whole show.
See, like
I
the
don't
stuff
need to
on
see how they're going to do
Egypt and
every
stuff like
room
that.
and every wire and every wall and every corner and every. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
Which would explain why people can't get through dispatching live. It's not called that anymore. Okay. And there's so many pages. All right. And I made videos. So then I got some comments. Hey, I'm not sure this is a good thing, meaning Proficient going into conglomerate.
Yeah.
This guy says smaller companies that stay within their means can do it better, quicker, and will provide better service overall. Now, I'm not arguing with that, but
No.
what I'm saying is, how are you going to... This is why a franchise dealership or OEM or fleet management company wants a brokerage or a nationwide company, right? Don't they just want one phone to handle everything?
Yeah.
Just
probably.
call whoever and they take care of it. Send them whatever and they take care of it. And he says, well, the bigger company has more customers to service and can't dedicate all the resources to one specific problem. And this comment makes me think again of like a big broker.
Right.
A big broker can talk to a customer the way they want to be talked to, right?
Right. Yeah.
But do they have a problem servicing them the way they need to be serviced?
Yes.
Ah, why?
I think sometimes they hire the wrong people that are supposed to be calling that. See, I don't remember. We talked about this about Danny was hauling a load for them about 8 months ago, and they refused to let us call the customer on pickup. Said we could not speak to them. When Danny arrived, the guy said, "Why didn't you call me?" And we said, "We weren't allowed to call you." The guy said he could only speak to you, and he said, "That's why I don't want to work with this company anymore. I can't stand this crap." So I think it's sometimes the people you hire are not doing their job right. And when he's saying smaller and bigger companies, you can see that would be the reason. You're just hiring someone to do what you think they're supposed to be doing. They're not. Whereas if it's your own company, you know you're going to talk to that person the right way and handle it the way you're supposed to.
So this brings us back to dispatching. Who trains people how to
Dispatch.
talk to customers and talk to the drivers?
Yeah.
Two totally different groups.
Yeah, it is.
And this is why I think we encourage the service provider, the driver, to learn how to talk to the customer. Now, anybody watching already knows that.
Yeah.
It's the folks that refuse to listen, connect, whatever, even identify themselves.
Right.
They're not worried about it. So preaching to
No,
the
they
choir
just
once
think they're
again.
going to get the load no matter what.
Preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
And then we continued to talk, and I was, but see, and then now it just turns into an argument, kind of, a disagreement. OEMs trust bigger companies, and there's a lot of reasons. They talk a good game, but they're interested in profits, which is true. I mean, this is the problem. That's why I found a picture of Mr. Wonderful. I mean, we are, we're a money-centric society. We focus on money. Now, again, somebody just jumped out of a window because I brought up something that, whoa, that's un-American. It's not. I'm just talking about it. Again, I mentioned that I'm listening to philosophy lectures. But when you focus on money, you're going to lose some of the other stuff that you said was important. You gave it a like on
Customer
LinkedIn,
service. Yeah.
but yeah, it was kind of BS.
Yeah.
And Mr. Wonderful is awesome on television, by the way. This guy's awesome on TV. Like, he's hard to dislike. But I think if you were to work with him privately, I think he'd kick your butt all over town. All right. So I then make a video about which ones earns more revenue, which we just talked about. And Skip was chiming in talking about revenue versus pricing versus... And I'm not trying to pin down the broker on how much money they make.
Okay.
But, well, I don't know. It's relevant. So there's this article I found, okay, on Overdrive Online. You know, there's all these publications. There's, man, between online articles, podcasts, and blogs, there is more content than you can ever try to consume. It's impossible. But this big rips and fat lips. Took me a while to figure this out. What the heck is a big rip and a fat lip? So he's got a big, and I like him already. He's got a big rip quadrant. Dude, speaking my language. I like it. Okay. So a big rip quadrant is a chart that measures, like, a big rip is when you make extra money. A fat lip is when you took a loss.
Gotcha.
It's brilliant. It's freaking brilliant. I love it. All right. On the big rip list, so for brokers that made 40% or more on the load fall into categories. There are actually brokers, this is freight, that made 70% on a load.
Well,
and that means, right, that
he has nothing less than 40% up there too.
Okay, but he's not measuring it. So, well, and he's trying to find the outliers of the data. Okay, right. But you're right. Because if you keep going up, the numbers are going to get bigger. Because, and he talks about, so before we get to that, so on the fat lip, this is actually, I would show the shipper this.
Yeah.
This is the fat lip chart. Look at all the times the broker lost money. I actually want to know. See,
how many times they lose money?
You know, I see all these ads on LinkedIn about how great everybody is, and everybody says the same thing, so now I can't even tell the difference. But I would love to see, and I'll tell you, camera one, if I see this, then I'll know who's secretly watching this show. I would love to see a broker post, we lost X amount of dollars making sure you were happy.
After you got your car.
Show me that ad. I have never seen that ad. Losing 50% on a load, that would hurt.
Oh, yeah.
That would hurt. And so, yeah, so this guy's data indicated that broker margins are around 15%. That's reasonable, right? Now, it's not like anybody's here to say what's reasonable and what's unreasonable, but carriers on average think that brokers are making plenty of money, which is why they ask for more money on every load.
Yep. Yep.
I still need that mug. Somebody please send me a mug that says change my mind. Please, I want that mug. Okay, hey, did you get the memo? Here we go. I teased up that we're going to talk about fraud and scams. Here we go. We talked about this scam last week, that there's all kinds of different fraudulent ways that scammers are trying to get into your truck stop information. The FMCSA talked about Uber Freight had a scamming deal. Well, Dan sent this in. Thank you, Dan. He said, is this one of those truck stop scams? He was watching the show. And so here's what he got. Like, the email address you're replying to does not match the original email address. And I think e.truckstop.com might have been on the good list. But how do you keep track? I think it was, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I think so.
It had an E in it. I remember one of them was.
We think, well, allegedly. This is where we have to get out our waiver, because if somebody, hangs a hook on us,
yeah,
which is likely at this point. Trucks needed right now out of St. Louis. Oh, and this is where it came from. Thanks for that, Dan. Okay, so I get this article. I hooked into this morning. Feds warn carriers about cargo theft scheme. The FBI, do I have your attention? The FBI is warning carriers about a sophisticated scheme that costs the industry millions. The FBI freaking I. Here's what they said. This scheme uses social engineering to take over carrier administrator accounts or online accounts for third-party transportation services and trick shippers, brokers, or carriers into transferring loads to criminal actors for financial gain.
Mm-hmm.
The term social engineering refers to the use of deception or manipulation to trick individuals into divulging confidential or personal information that could be used for fraudulent purposes. So note, this does not include a hack, but rather a personal hack, which again, I want to say on personal hacking, oh my gosh, the life coaching, the leadership, and all the likety likes out there, social engineering. The deception and manipulation to trick individuals. You are being socially engineered on LinkedIn. I see it every day. I am tuned in, bro. You are being deceived and manipulated into divulging confidential and personal information. It's crazy.
Do you see the number? They got 3 ways they're doing it. The third way
Yes.
is basically hacking.
Well, here we go. Yeah, so you're reading ahead because, yeah, I love it. Okay, here we go. There's 3 versions of cargo theft scheme: insider threat, third party, and good Samaritan. There will be a quiz later.
Okay.
The insider threat and third-party versions of the scheme. Scammers use social engineering techniques to take over an administrator or online account of a targeted business for third-party services.
Mm-hmm. So that is hacking, right?
You're hacking people.
Well, no, read it right here. It says service website.
All right.
Scanning a third-party
But-
transportation service website. for
Okay, but
vulnerability.
I hear you. But you're recruiting an employee of a targeted business.
Right, that's
You're-
another one.
You're contacting a third party. You're scanning. I mean, but you're using people.
See, the third one I'm not taking is using people.
Scanning a third-party transportation service website for vulnerabilities. You're right. The third one is tech. That's good. That's good. And this is so. Here's what we're gonna do. Let's see. Let's go to the next page. Okay. Once the criminals have gained access to a carrier's account, whether it be through hacking a person or hacking a website, even, and this is where, oh man, now we're really going to get into trouble. If you're a criminal hacker, scammer, fraudster, and you are able to log into the #1 load board, think of all the information that's just sitting there.
Everything.
Everything.
Everything is there.
Everything is just sitting there. Now, I'm talking like this because the FBI is now in my mind. I'm now inside the Matrix. I'm not kidding. Once the criminals have gained access to a carrier's account, they update the account's details with a phone number and email address that they control. Man, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
How hard would that be to do? I mean, I don't know. I don't
know. I don't know how they did it that day we were on the show, and they did it right there on one of my accounts.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Kids know this. Kids are playing games, okay? Video games. I play Fortnite. I have 2 boys. They play different games.
Right.
They talk about hacking all the time. I don't know how people know how to hack. I have no idea.
No, me neither.
But it's common. So how hard would it be to change an email address and a phone number? Probably not that hard. I'll bet. Yeah, I don't want to go too far. We got the FBI on the line. In a third-party version of the scheme, scammers take over one or more of a carrier's account credentials, then stolen accounts that are used to book loads for financial gain. Right? And this is what we know that there are what? And then did they post it as a load?
Yep.
Holy crap! Are the feds watching the load board?
Crooks monitor driver databases to obtain information about shipments.
With the Good Samaritan version of the scheme, crooks monitor driver databases to obtain information about shipments.
So by driver databases, what do you mean? Their phones, their computers, right? That's what
Probably, yeah.
So it's hacking again.
I mean, once you get into a carrier's system, and here's the thing too, you know this, is that there are people that are so busy with day-to-day work that they don't have they probably don't have complicated passwords. They probably don't have internet savvy people answering the phones. They probably, right? So the people can be hacked, the systems can be hacked, and they've got all these loads they're moving. Now they can be digitally hijacked, and then I suppose if the scammers are connected to, this is where it gets really complicated. And we hear crime rings. It's like when we heard about like the Taliban has like sleeper cells. You know, we're like, well, I don't know. But they do. It probably takes a long time to set this stuff up. But once it's set up, and then you can just divert cars. I just saw an article that Toronto has like a high incidence of port shipping container scams.
Really?
That these networks figure out how to start diverting cargo to where they want, and people are just left, law enforcement's left to catch up. And you've got the people that work in logistics unknowingly participating in the scam, thinking that it's just logistics.
So do you see where it says the criminals contact a carrier and advise they have a driver close by? Do you think they mean they contact the shipper or the customer?
Well, so
it wouldn't be a carrier.
Well, my mind went dark, and I thought, well, if I was a scammer in this case, wouldn't I pretend to be a dispatcher?
Yeah, but that's not what they're saying.
Oh, I know they're not saying it.
Because what happened to me is they contacted the person that had the car, the actual residents, and convinced them that the broker that they had on it was a scam artist, and these people let them pick it up. And they went bye-bye. Never to be seen again. It was an old Firebird or some shit like that.
I had an auction call me and say, because it had just happened, and who did they, when they thought of auto transport, community and information, they thought of me.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. So I said, well, what happened? And they're like, well, our shipper, you can't divulge this. Our shipper is sensitive customer. I said, I'm not going to name names. Just tell me what happened. And they said that, essentially a company that they trust picked up the cars from the auction, delivered to the customer who they thought was the buyer. But a fraudster had posed as the buyer, somehow intervened the information, pretended to be the buyer,
right?
Got the stuff delivered to them,
right? And
they were like, yeah, by now that stuff's probably already over the border being stripped.
I had someone try that.
And this this was in a border state, and they're probably right.
Oh, you're saying you're talking like Mexico is what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. I try to play the political game as much as I can.
Well, it could be Canada or Mexico. So
Those Canadian car strippers. Okay, see, now you've really done it, Jay.
No, I had that happen too. I had a guy trying to scam. He called me up and said he had a vehicle to pick up. Remember, I remember talking about this story. And when we called the place we were picking up from, they're like, you're the second, third person that's called, and this car doesn't belong to this guy that you're telling me it belongs to. So he was trying to get me to pick it up and take it to him. So same thing, basically.
Gary's got an interesting one. What about all those insurance calls where they want to say a truck insurance when you don't own any trucks?
True.
You know, I think what we wonder is, and I always, this is when I can ever get an image of something like this, I'm fascinated. That means there are rooms in places full of people in little makeshift cubicles with
Yep.
computers and phones, and
Yep.
all they're trying to do is get into your business somehow.
Yep. They're hacking. That's all they're doing.
Social engineering with the phone, hacking with the computer, and you've got teams and rooms and steam tunnels. It's happening right now. It is totally weird. That is so weird. All right. And and so Dan sends me this. After reading that, now when I look at this, I'm like, what is this? What is this? Somebody sent Dan this. Now, by the way, the photo's not even an actual photo. It's just like this little cartoon digital. Like, what is this? Will you read this? Out loud, please. For the
Auto
podcast.
Transport broker, Central Dispatch 30 posts. I'm assuming $80. Dialer main number, not extension. I don't. It's definitely not somebody from here. I don't understand it. Start auto transport broker in just 130. Are they trying to get you to be a transport broker?
I don't fully understand it.
I think that's what they're trying to do. Because it says
Okay.
start auto transport broker in just $137.
So this is a mobile Facebook message.
Ad.
Okay, it's an ad. I don't know where Dan got this. So thanks for sending it in, Dan. But Ray says, car transport auto transport broker, Central Dispatch 30 post $80. Dial main number, not extension, $52. Is that like code? I don't know what he's trying to.
I don't know.
I think he's talking in code. CRM $0. Which okay, he just put a dollar amount so he could put in the information.
Okay.
Yeah.
Professional email.
Maybe it's extension
Percentage.
52. I don't know.
Percentage
professional
is 25, 75.
Start auto transport broker in just 30. I don't.
I
It
think
is
that's
weird.
what he's trying to say, that you can sign up for Central Dispatch and have 30 posts for $80, which is not true. It's 130 now, I think, is what it is.
Well, but I guess I think what he's doing then is you're using his account to post Central. So right, so you don't have to get your own account. You can work with him.
Oh.
So he's like, right? So he's got an account, and then he's like shedding off. He's like I think he's a Central Dispatch broker account reseller.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, sure. See?
So there you go.
There's opportunity for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how you scam people.
Central Dispatch has
Basically.
got to love this.
Wow. That's wow.
Right?
I mean, we
think
see
that's
people
what it
all the
is.
time let people post loads on their account, which I never recommend doing.
Oh my gosh.
They do it.
Now that's
all the
the
time.
fastest way to get socially scammed.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. I can't figure out why our loads are disappearing.
Well, what I'm saying too is, like, you know, what I've picked up cars where they've listed and then, oh, you got to call that guy, you're delivering to him. But what happens is, say that load ends up, like, you pick up the car, they didn't pay you, or you pick up the car and you couldn't deliver in time, and that company gets a negative though because of this jerk off putting his stuff on there. They don't even think about that they could be doing that either. I don't know how many times I've gone to one of those places and said they were going to have a forklift and didn't have a forklift because they let this guy use the account. That's a typical thing.
I was looking at the time and looking at my feed. Okay, so we're 10 after. Let me keep going. Man, this is so funny. I knew that we would have this long-running show. All right, number one story is fraud. As I dropped a video about that. I've been putting out some more YouTube shorts. Okay. This is from a carrier. Every day I see a new carrier that has bottom of the barrel equipment. No idea how to operate a legitimate business. There's no system of checks and balances to make sure guys are operating properly or who they are, who they say they are.
Yep.
That's why I think it's so funny that somebody on the phone wouldn't even tell you who they are. They could just make up a name, right? Can't they?
Yeah. Well, they could.
I said that I had hoped that the $100 million investment announcement by Central Dispatch also includes carrier vetting. Skip was saying he didn't think so. I said I hope it does.
I don't think it just should be carrier vetting. It needs to be broker vetting as well.
Well,
okay, so this needs to be known.
I agree
Over
with
the
you.
last month,
Oh, yeah. No, go ahead. Start again.
just in a month's time, we've had to file against 5 broker bonds. That's a lot. I usually do 3 a year max with 15 drivers. 3 of them are on one account, 2 of them are on another. You guys need to watch these people. They sound great. I even vetted them with the factoring companies. But if they're new and they're paying really well, watch out, because I think that's what's going on. They're getting in for just a little bit of time. Now, I will say 4 out of the 5?
4 out of 5.
4 out of the 5 got paid by the broker bond company. The last one we didn't get to in time because we weren't told that it didn't get paid. So we couldn't get it in time. The cutoff was 4/5. We found out about it on 4/16. So watch yourselves out there. It's becoming to be a problem, and that's why I'm saying that Central needs to step in and maybe vet these new brokers that are coming in better.
So, since we're here, and I want to read this and then I'm going to address that, is that Stephen Family says happened to him, got a load from CD. We know who that is. He texted, he picked up, he dropped the car, no answer after that, spoke with the dealer, and he said he got them from FB Facebook.
Oh, no.
I know. So let's ask the question again. Because it comes down to, does a load board need to vet the people that are on it and using it? I mean,
they
that's
say
the
they
question.
don't. I mean, they say they vet them, but
Well, are they legally required?
They won't help anybody after that point. I would think they were. If you're putting the information on there for us to depend on and assume that it's legit and not fraudulent, yeah.
See, and I think the FMCSA, which, by the way, as Brian pointed out, the FMCSA is a safety association organization. Right. They're not there to protect the marketplace.
No. Yeah, for money or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah,
so there is no legal requirement for a bulletin board. I think that's the term they use because they always talk like robots.
Load board, yeah.
Yeah. There's no requirement for a bulletin board to vet its users. Just like and I can see the argument. And that's actually part of philosophy is seeing points of view.
Sides. Right.
And that is that a grocery store is not responsible for the people that shop there. Now, a grocery store does vouch for the products on the shelf.
Right.
And
they have
this actually is where it gets dicey. You can't sell, but you can't, I guess you can, but, well, are there any retail outlets where things can be sold without anybody vouching for anybody? What about at a gun shop? Like, you know, like a county fair gun? I mean, I don't know. If I buy an AK-47 and blow my head off, other than a parade, does anybody care? That's not.
Jay, that's bad.
It's terrible. It's so funny though to one person.
Well, I'm curious if we're gonna say that. Does that mean that Truckstop and DAT? What do? Do they vet their?
Well, see, this is the thing. Exactly. I think you're absolutely right. And this is actually the way the Supreme Court, I think, works is when they review a case, they look at legal precedent.
Right.
what already exists in
Mhm.
this topic.
Right.
And if we look at freight, I think DAT and those guys do
I think they
more
do too.
vetting of their
Brokers,
marketplace.
shippers, whatever. Yeah. I mean,
And
I used
I'm not
to do
here
freight,
to
and
force
I sure
anybody to
did.
do the right thing or the wrong thing or whatever,
Yeah,
but it seems like a legitimate question.
it does. I mean, really.
And I would think if you got $100 million announcement, you could, set aside $1 million for carrier vetting. Well, and so here, this is cool. And you know what? This is the way, actually, what's interesting, thinking of Shark Tank, what happens is some little guy comes up with a great idea, and it's such a great idea that a big guy goes, oh, yeah, we're definitely going to do that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of little guys, or medium-sized guys, or women, or whatever, coming up with great ideas. This is a new technology that I just found out about called Trusted, Trustd. Now, I don't know exactly what marketplaces they work in, but they verify with photo, with license, like if
Charles,
you're in
that's what you
Trusted,
need.
yeah, you are.
Charles was wanting to know how to vet a driver. That's what he needs.
There you go. You are identified.
There you go.
You
Trust
have
me.
been identified.
Drivers and carriers.
Whether
shippers.
you
Oh,
like it
wow.
or not, you're identified. This is the Angie's List, huh?
Yeah.
Ah.
There you go. Just trust him.
Because, Craig was a weirdo. That's what they should have said. Angie's List, because Craig is a weirdo. Okay. I just want to touch the Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse 2023 numbers released. This is always interesting. According to the December 2023 report, Clearinghouse yielded 61,000 plus positive tests in 2023, as opposed to 68,000 in 2022, because people were doing less drugs while driving after COVID. No reaction.
Because they couldn't afford the drugs. That's probably
Out of the 61,000 positive tests, over half were
for
pot.
marijuana.
I didn't even read it right. See, okay, stop the music. See, it says metabolite for marijuana, and I just spoke the truth. I said pot.
Yeah.
All right.
Cocaine.
Hey, pot's legal now. You can talk about
That's probably why.
You can talk about pot now.
Probably marijuana because that is
Pot. Okay. All right. Other drugs that registered positive included cocaine. This is the list. If you want to talk about lists, this is the list that you're really looking for.
Yeah.
Okay?
Who's on what?
10,000 cocaine tests. All right? That one you want to know about.
Yes.
Meth, 4,500.
I'm really shocked. I'm so shocked that there's more cocaine than meth. Because cocaine is more expensive.
I gotta tell you, it's the cocaine number that you really want to know.
That's kind of scary.
That's the one you want to know, yeah. Because if you're testing positive for coke, you don't need an ELD.
You're already flying.
They just rip it out of the truck and hand you a mirror. Let's see, oxycodone, hydrocodone. See, now we're getting into, this is back pain, and this is hydromorphone, morphine. There's actually people testing, that's back pain. Codeine, back pain. 6-acetylmorphine, I don't even know what that is. PCP was 90.
I can't believe people were doing ecstasy. That's scary, too.
Ecstasy! Oh my God!
Driving
What?
around that. Oh, wow. I don't even know what the last one was.
Dude, here's your cargo. It's awesome. And then this methylene.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
It's like
But
a mix of meth and amphetamine.
Right. It's even got some ecstasy in it. Okay, so that's our show for the day.
We get finished with
my
coke and meth.
God.
Hey, there we go.
I mean, I think there's more, but that is such a, I don't know. Oh, welcome to auto transport. Oh, you say, hey, this is what happens when you don't pay attention to who you're talking to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, look,
Yeah.
what is this? And I love that it says alien transportation. Why does it? Okay, what do we got? No, I like
That's the name of the company.
Okay, I like it. What are we looking at? What is this? Please.
So
tell us.
this is the guy that they never called before they got there. They showed up at the address, and I guess that my customer changed the address, didn't tell us either. But anyways, this isn't even it. He sent, you notice it says for pickup. He's delivering my car. He's bitching at me about somebody else's car in the text to me. And I'm like, what are you even talking about? You've already picked up my car. You're delivering my car. And he's chewing me out. I call him up and he starts going off on me. And I said, whoa, 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 stop right there. And then I let him have it. And I said, you will never haul a car for me again. You do not talk to people like this, especially when this isn't my load and you should be apologizing to me. And all he said was, we'll deliver your car. Click. And that was it.
Yeah. I mean.
See, this is not, none of this is my load at all. So he texted the wrong person.
Oh.
He didn't even apologize.
Oh, yeah. He's just texting the wrong person.
Yes. So when I called him up to chew him out about it, did he apologize? No. I would have been apologizing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of the... Oh, I don't even know. Let's see what Gary says. Gary says, I'm with you. How are you feeling? All right. I'm starting to feel good about... I'm starting to feel good, too, RVZ quoted.
He was probably hot. Yeah, he brought,
says he was probably
on coke.
Oh my gosh, or one of those other methyls. We talked about, this was 2 weeks ago, Baltimore Bridge, and I've been working on a video edit to release to talk about. There is really a lot to talk about. I think this is going to be a big topic for a while. It's going to be a snoozer here and there, but actually there's a lot of logistics information to know about where to go and alternates and who it affects. And it's
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
Are they still taking cars just all the way around, or is it done?
So I think the answer is whoever can process cars, but you said taking cars. See, that's the thing. There's
I'm talking about taking them to the ports over there.
So there are a few areas, like Sparrows Point is, I think, unaffected because it's outside the Broken Bridge area.
Right. Well, you can come around.
But there are always, it's just like when there's a crash scene, then there's a fence line around a safety area, a buffer zone. But I think Sparrows Point, for the most part, and these are good questions.
What about Dundalk? Because you can get to it from up there too, right?
Yeah, but you can't. Okay, so no ship can go past the squiggly line.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
The squiggly line is the bridge crash. And so everything north of the bridge crash is inaccessible.
So who is Sparrows Point? Because I've never taken a car there.
Right. Well, I think it's just a couple companies. Okay. I want to say maybe either VW, Toyota, BMW. Okay. There's just a couple companies and everybody else is inside. I mean, Dundalk and Curtis Bay are the most popular.
Right. And I go to Amport's quite a bit.
And then, so here's the thing. We're not just talking about ships that can't go in. We're talking about all the people, the full ecosystem. Oh, yeah. It's a giant ecosystem that's affected.
Oh, yeah.
And then all the alternate, you have to go to the Port of New York, or there's so much in here.
So is this on the Dundalk and all them? Is it only cars that are coming in there, or is there freight like?
Oh yeah, no. Yeah. So it's intermodal. There's
This is affecting the whole United States. It's not just going to affect that.
Exactly. It's not just cars. This is all freight.
Yeah.
And Baltimore Port. Now Baltimore Port happens to be, I believe, #1 on the East Coast in autos. Yeah.
Okay.
The number 2, I think, would be Brunswick. It's not #1 in freight, but it is a major port.
Yeah.
The equivalent would be if this were to happen at Long Beach. Do you remember how these ships were? I don't know why I'm screaming.
They were stuck out there?
I'm just yelling like crazy. But yeah, there were, like, when was that? Was that I guess it was near the beginning of COVID, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Because of the COVID, they couldn't bring in the ships. Yeah. And there was
Okay.
what, 9, 10 ships sitting out in the water.
Sitting out there for months.
Yeah.
Rather than that happening, those ships are being diverted to other ports,
Right.
which are saying, we're ready to accept your loads.
Okay.
But as Joe Bercari pointed out on the show 2 weeks ago, it's not that simple.
Right.
It's kind of like when you go to the DMV and you say, well, I don't have my license because my cousin's sister's brother came to the house and they drove over and picked up Llewellyn, and Llewellyn's on the phone. So can I have you talk to Llewellyn? It's like that.
Yeah.
It's just like that. Now 2 weeks ago, Genius Marketing and Automotive. Yeah, I needed to give this a catchier title because I thought actually this was a really great show with Skip and David. You said you're going to talk to David.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. David's doing a lot of research
Yes.
kind of after this show, which is really, really neat. We got a few minutes left. Oh, you can't see. Oh, dude, I didn't change the. Well, that's all right. Small business auto haulers. Okay, this was posted on LinkedIn. I like looking at what are the ads being posted. Sue, what do you see?
I mean, it's AutoSled, and they're just basically saying that you can get on your app to book a load, but you still got to be signed up with them before you get that far.
All right.
I mean, there is an app. They want you to use the app. Most of my guys don't use the app because they use Super Dispatch instead, and they just don't want to switch back and forth. I do believe that AutoSled, though, pays faster if you use their app. Like, it's almost immediate.
Ooh.
So that would be your only difference.
Well, there it is. Fast payments.
Mm-hmm.
No subscriptions.
And they may eventually
free.
go to you can only use it. I mean, that's what they tell you every time, but like I said, a couple of my drivers don't use it. And all they say is send me the bill of lading and they get you processed. But they may eventually go to where app only. We'll see. There's a lot of companies wanting to do that.
For my money, I think I like this ad. I think it's good. I just don't know what it's telling me that I didn't know. I like that it's telling me, I guess, that it's free to use, no subscriptions.
Yeah.
But
it's only for their loads.
So that's what so it better be free, right?
Yeah.
Okay, load board. Do they have a load board?
Yeah, that's it. You get on autosled.com and their loads are on there. That's how you go get them. But you have to be signed up with them.
Is there any way to look at them on your screen?
Yeah, let me see.
All right, cool. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it. Not that anybody from AutoSled is going to come on and talk about it, but I'm just, pointing it out. Whatever. No problem.
Okay, this is the load board. Let me move this over here. And as you can see, they don't have a lot of loads, just so everybody knows. It's only 242 on there.
Okay.
That's usually,
242.
Yeah. But then this is to view shipments right here. And if you had an order ID, you can put it up right up there and it will locate the load for you. It shows you the transporter price, how much per mile. So if I wanted this load, for example, I'll just click it and okay. I didn't really accept it, but here you go. This tells you everything. Then once you get it in there, you click your company, you put your driver. You're supposed to have your driver set up on here. I think you have to have, I don't know if they fixed it, but you used to have to call AutoSled in and have your driver added as a driver. You couldn't do it yourself. It may be different now. The good part about this usually, which is weird, this is not showing this, but it'll usually tell you the same thing like Metro does, the curve weight, the dimensions, stuff like that. This one is not doing it. But it will kind of tell you this is the pickup, this is the delivery. It's not telling you if it's a business or not until you get to the next thing. So,
well, I think this looks pretty good. I think it's weird
it's
that
not
this
hard
is the
to
first
use.
time I'm ever seeing this.
Yeah, it's really not hard to use. I don't mind it at all. It's, you get in and get out kind of thing.
Do you log in here?
Yeah, I'd already logged in.
Okay, so you check AutoSled's load board for loads.
Sometimes they don't have very many.
I didn't
like
even
I said.
know this was a thing.
Yeah.
Do carriers know about this?
I think so, because if you see the load on Central, it says go to their load board.
Go to the load board. Okay,
Yeah.
that's how. Okay, that's how carriers know. Go to the load board. Is
Yeah.
there a link on Central or
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, it's interesting because remember Muzi with Truckify making those
Yeah.
Truckify links?
Yeah.
Has that trend grown or has it just stayed the same?
About the same.
Well,
And I don't,
that's what I was thinking. Why is that? Wouldn't the link system
because you have to
be
pay to
easier?
have an account.
Pay to have a central dispatch account?
No, you have to pay to have a Truckify account.
Oh, well, why doesn't AutoSled just create their own truckification link?
No, I don't think AutoSled has a Truckify. You're talking about somebody else.
Well, so let me ask this: AutoSled, you can go to auto. Where do you go? Autosled.com.
Let's just look up. I can pull
Yeah,
up
let's do
loads
it.
by them. Hold on. Because I think we can still put in
And here's the camera one for my money.
select a shipper.
This
Here we
is
go.
what I would advertise, but I guess on LinkedIn there's no carriers because carriers don't do sales.
I don't know why, but there's two AutoSled accounts. Okay, so what this is going to do is just bring up all their loads, okay?
Okay, there's
Which
AutoSled.
is about right. They had 242 on their load board. It's 237. So probably a couple people have taken loads. Let's look
Cool.
at what it says.
All right, you click, and then you.
It just says
Okay.
must use the AutoSled app BOL. It
See-
doesn't say to go there. It's just I know that's what you do.
So that's what I'm
So-
getting at. In the additional info, this is what I thought.
They need
was
to
here.
put that in there.
Wouldn't
Or
that
it
be
needs
good?
to say you need to be signed up with us in order to go to the app. You know, that kind of thing.
Well, wouldn't it be helpful if there was an autosled.com/characters that take you to that
Oh, yeah.
load? But maybe
Oh, yeah.
then because anybody can shop, now
Then you
are you
go to
opening
it
a
and get
window
signed up.
to
Yeah.
well, but are you exposing yourself to possible scam?
Oh.
In fact, here's a question.
Good
Oh my
question.
God. Don't Jay, don't say it. But isn't any load posted being exposed to possible scam?
Technically, yes.
Holy moly. No way.
Yeah, I mean, technically, that's why Central's putting all over there about watch out for fraud, watch out for fraud. You know what I mean? Everybody's doing watch out for fraud. It's happening so rarely. I mean, like I said, I've changed the way I get drivers too because of it. Oh, you know what I had a company do to me the other day to get a load, and I totally got it, but that you could still scam somebody. They sent a code to my central dispatch account that I had to read to her before she would give me the load. So she confirmed I was who I said I was by going through central dispatch.
Well, now
Because-
that sounds like a good thing, right?
Yeah, I didn't. She's like, a lot of people get pissed off, and I'm like, no,
Whoa.
I'm totally with you.
What system
Fine
did
with me.
she use to create this code?
I think she just sent an email to Central. I don't know if there's a
But it was
system.
like one of those VFA2 verification.
Yeah, it's something
right?
weird. Yeah, I'm sure she used
Did
something.
she have you click on which icons have stoplights and bicycles?
I just got the
That's good.
code and I read it to her over the
That's
phone.
a
and
CAPTCHA
she sent
joke.
me
I
the
love
load.
CAPTCHA jokes.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's actually kind of brilliant.
It is. I told her it was a really good idea.
Wow.
However, it doesn't stop like what happened to me where it was still the same company that accepted it. So if somebody can access that account still, what's the matter? They're still going to be able to steal your car. I mean, you have a better chance of not happening because you're talking to the person, but if somebody wanted to access your account and still take that car, they could still take that car.
So it's kind of like when you're shopping let's say you're shopping in a mall in a very urban, militarized. I'm trying to think of like a mini mall in Beijing during an uprising.
Okay.
Okay. Really? But you're there, you're shopping.
Right.
You are on your purse is like chained
shoulder.
to your
Yeah.
jacket, right?
Yeah.
Your
Right.
wallet, has like latches and locks. That's what it can be like.
Yeah.
We're like Road Warrior post-apocalyptic load search.
Yeah.
Wow.
With the mask.
Yeah, exactly. Hanging off the front of and then, he's dreading. He's on the microphone.
Mad Max.
Mad Max. Shout out. I love Mad Max. God, I love that stuff. All right, it's 1:30. That was an amazing show, actually. I don't know how much dispatching fundamentals we did. I did kind of
covered a
update
bunch.
that we would cover a lot of fraud stuff.
Yeah.
This was a show about fraud.
Yeah.
So,
And truly, I mean, I hate to say it, it's happening so much, we need to be talking about it anyways. I don't think people understand how bad it is. Because it hasn't happened to them.
Shippers have no idea. And I think that's why the auction called me when they did. Because, like, whoa, holy crap.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And, like,
Crazy.
yeah, like, it's kind of like when you get your first, well, I just thought of carjacking. When you're being carjacked, it's so surprising, you don't know what to do.
They're just like, please don't kill me. Take my car.
Please just, take my car. Don't kill me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, good. I'm glad we could end on a real high note.
Don't take my car.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Office. What do we say, Office?
Goodbye, Sue.
Goodbye, Sue. Goodbye, Janice. Goodbye,
See you.
everybody.
Bye,
Thank you so
Janice.
much. We'll
All
see
right.
you. No show next Thursday.
Right.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right.
Have a good 2 weeks.
All right. Will
All
do.
right, see you. Bye.
See-